This video will show you exactly how to set up a RAG research agent that will respond to the message you send it through Telegram. So the first thing we're going to do is add a Telegram node. So in the search bar, search for Telegram and select on message. For this example, we already have our Telegram account set up. If you want to know how to set this up, we have another tutorial for that. So the trigger will be set on message, and we're going to hit test. Now that N8N is listening to the command coming from Telegram, so what we can do is enter our Telegram app, and we can simply message it, hello. As you can see, the message we have sent through Telegram is now showing up here in the output. So that step is done. The next step we're going to do is to add an AI agent. Click on Advanced AI and click on AI Agent. For this, we're going to change the source for prompt to define below. Now for the prompt, you will select expression, and inside the prompt box, you will type in, please research the topic I just sent you. And for this, you will drag in the text handlebar into the prompt box, just like that, so that it's going to research whatever you just texted inside your Telegram app. The next thing we're going to add is a chat model. For this, we're using OpenAI as our chat model, and we're going to use ChatGPT 4o as the latest and the fastest reasoning model there is. Now the next thing we're going to add is a memory. For this, we will add a simple memory. And we can set the context window length to 5 as the default. Now the next thing we're going to add is a tool, which will be the vector database. So in this case, we're choosing Pinecone Vector Store. So inside the Pinecone Vector Store setting, you will set the name, description, and the index. So for the name, we will simply name it database. And for the description, we will just change it to research. Keep it simple. And then for the Pinecone index, this is where you will click on the drop-down menu to select the index that you have already set up inside your Pinecone account. So for this example, we're going to show you exactly how to set that up. Once you are inside your Pinecone account, on the dashboard, click on Create Index. And here you will name it, let's just say Data Research. And then for the configuration, we will use text embedding 3 small. And then down here where it says capacity, you will just keep that default. Cloud provider, we will use AWS. And then for the region, we will select Virginia, US East. Just keep everything as default. And then hit Create Index. And now we have our index created inside our Pinecone. Now notice we don't have anything inside our index yet, and this is where we have to go back to N8N to set up the rest. So back to N8N, for the Pinecone index, we're going to select the index we just created, which is data research. And then we're going to set the limit to 4, and then leave everything as default. Now hit back to canvas. Now for the embedding, you will add a OpenAI embeddings, and for the model, we will choose embedding 3 small, which is exactly the same model we used on our Pinecone account. And now you pretty much have this research agent set up and ready to go. So we're going to hit save, and we're going to actually test this workflow. One thing I forgot to set up was the simple memory. So let's double click on that. Here we need to set up our session ID. And what we can do is to drag the session ID simply from our Telegram trigger. So for this example, we're going to just simply grab the ID handlebar into the key area as an expression, and then keep the context window length to 5. Now this is the most basic AI agent workflow that will reference the Pinecone vector database, and it's going to research whatever you messaged the agent through your Telegram trigger. But we don't have anything inside our Pinecone vector store right now. So what we need to do is to set up a workflow where we can upload information to the system and then upload them to the Pinecone store. So for this, we're going to move over here, and then we're going to actually create a new workflow. So hit add. We're going to add another trigger. For this, we're going to just choose trigger manually. Okay, the next node we're going to add is a Google Drive trigger. We can actually go in and search for the file we have uploaded to Google Drive, and then it's going to do its job finding that file, download the file, and then upload that file to the Pinecone index. So hit add, select the Google Drive. For this, we're going to select search. So inside our Google Drive node, we already have an account set up. If you want to know exactly how to set this up step by step, we actually have another video you can watch, which I will link that in the description. Now for the source, we're going to keep it file/folder. For the operation, we're going to select search. For the search method, it's going to be search for file and folder name. And then we're going to hit return all. But right now we don't have any files uploaded to our Google Drive. So let's head over to our Google Drive account. Inside our Google Drive account, we have already created a research folder. This will be the folder which we will drop in studies, PDFs, and other information. So for this, we are dragging in our research paper, which is about sleep. Just like that. Now let's head back over to N8N. We're going to use file and folder as the resource. Operation will be set to search. Search method will be search file and folder name. And here we will toggle return all. And for the filters, we will click on, for the folder, we will choose from list, and it's going to be from the root file. In this case, we have created a folder called research. So hit research, and that will be the folder that is going to grab information from. So we're going to hit test. It should return 2 files, which are the 2 PDF files we have uploaded regarding sleep research. So the next thing we're going to do is to download those files. So we're going to add a Google Drive node again, and this time it's going to be download file. In this case, we're going to choose operation to download, and for the file, we're going to choose from list, and select the file. We're going to hit expression, and we're going to drag the ID from the previous node right here in the field. So it's going to reference the previous node, so Google Drive knows exactly which file to download. Now it's going to return 2 binary files which we can download. Test step is going to download the file. Now let's go back to the canvas. Here we need to add our embedding model, which will be embedding OpenAI. And for the model, we're going to select embedding 3 small, which was the same model we used in our Pinecone database. For the document, we will select default data loader. For the type of data, we're going to hit binary, because the files we have are binary files. And then for the data format, just keep it at default. For options, add option, and go down to metadata. And we're going to add property. For the name, we can just simply name it to file. And then for the value, this will be the name of the file, the metadata from our search. So go over to search, and then drag the name of the file into the value field as an expression. And go down to metadata. And we're going to add property. For the name, we can just simply name it to file. And then for the value, this will be the name of the file, the metadata from our search. So go over to search, and then drag the name of the file into the value field as an expression. And if that turns red, simply change item to first. Because N8N will only reference the information from the previous node, but it's not going to be able to reference the nodes before that. So now for the text splitter, we're going to add a recursive character text splitter. Now we're going to change the overlap to about 250 and leave the chunk size at 1000. The chunk overlap is basically the overlap between the two sections so that your information doesn't get cut off. Now there's one more thing we forgot to do is go back to our Pinecone vector store and set up our index, which was the data research. Now we have our Pinecone vector store workflow set up. Now let's test this. It should be researching the file we have uploaded inside our Google Drive, and it's going to download that file and put that into our Pinecone vector store. So let's hit test. As you can see, this process has been successful. 2 items have been downloaded and have been put into our vector database. So if we head over to our Pinecone account and go to the data research index, we can see that those items have been added to the vector database, and we have the record count from 0 now showing 100. And now that we have our Pinecone database set up, now we can text our chatbot through our Telegram app on the research topic about sleep. So let's open up our Telegram app, and we're going to test the workflow. We're going to simply ask it to, we're going to say research about sleep. It's going to write the article while referencing our Pinecone database. Now, as you can see, it wrote the content by referencing the vector database. And this is exactly how we can set up a research agent using the Pinecone vector database. Now, the more you put into the vector database, the better the result will be. On top of that, you need to also refine the prompt that you give to the agent so that the writing comes out exactly the way you want. Now, if you want to integrate a workflow just like this inside another project where you have to upload content to a website like WordPress, please watch this video next.